A hearing brings new developments in the Amber Spradlin murder case, and Pikeville's mayor withdraws from his re-election campaign. I'm Jerry Scott, and this is the Mountaintop Daily. Plenty of developments in today's hearing in the Amber Spradlin murder case, as a new trial date was set and a decision was made on lowering murder suspect M.K. McKinney's bond. Robin was in the courtroom and has all the details.
Another hearing was held today in the Amber Spradlin case to discuss setting a trial date and reducing M.K. McKinney's bond. Commonwealth's attorney Brent Turner asked for the trial date to be pushed to May or June, citing that the crime lab now has new technology that will enable them to analyze mixed blood samples, which will result in more accurate results but takes longer to process.
It provides way more information than what they previously would receive. This guy tells me that their case report could be possibly 1,000 pages long, and that the lab report where they summarize this stuff may be 20 plus pages long, and they're normally like 2 to 3 pages long.
Defense attorney Stephen Romines replied that it is unconstitutional to keep McKinney in jail while the prosecution keeps pushing back the trial date.
They can't have it both ways. If we want to keep him locked up, but we don't know when we're ready to go to trial. It just, that is so contradictory to Kentucky and the United States Constitution, Judge. You agree to release him on bond, and we can work through some of these issues time-wise. However, you can't try to keep him in on a $5 million bond and say, we don't know when we'll be ready.
Judge Eddie Coleman settled on a jury trial date of May 11th with a pre-trial date set for February 26th at 10 a.m. He also reduced McKinney's bond to a $1 million property bond, which requires posting $2 million in property plus $400,000 cash.
As you probably heard him say, he has done some modification that would do a combination of cash and property, which would be lower than the current $5 million cash, and then it would be up to the defendant to see if they can come up with that, and if they do, he'll be out and on, I assume, on home incarceration.
Judge Coleman also recommended mediation, which Dr. Michael McKinney's attorney Terry Jacobs doesn't see working out in this case.
In this case, neither side has any idea that it will be resolved at mediation. However, mediation functions in other capacities by clearing up legal issues, trial procedure, and discovery issues. And so it's very productive, even though an actual resolution of the case is extremely unlikely. It's still a very beneficial tool.
Turner is expecting the trial will take at least 3 weeks, possibly 4. Reporting for Mountaintop News, I'm Robin Tillman.
Pikeville Mayor Jimmy Carter, who is in his 3rd term in the office, has decided not to pursue a 4th term. Carter, who filed for re-election on November 5th, announced Monday that he would exit the race. In making the announcement, he said he reflected on the race over Thanksgiving and came to the conclusion that it is time to step back and make space for the next generation of ideas and energy. Carter's withdrawal leaves City Commissioners Steve Hartsock and Bob Shurtleff as the only 2 candidates currently vying for the office. It also means that, as the race stands now, there will be no primary for the race. That could change, however, if another candidate enters the race. Under Kentucky law, mayor's races in cities of Pikeville's size go to a primary in May if more than 2 candidates file for the race. The top 2 candidates then run again in November. If only 2 candidates run for the office, the race goes straight to the November ballot. Coming up after the break, the works of a late local artist and art professor were showcased in Paintsville over the weekend. We'll take you there when the Mountaintop Daily continues. But first, sports and weather.
With Mountaintop Sports, I'm Dave Stanford. We begin in Lexington, where Class 2A state semifinal matchup between Belfry and Lexington Christian Academy was overshadowed by a halftime controversy that has stirred up major discussion across eastern Kentucky. Belfry led LCA 15-14 at the half, but according to a statement from head coach Matt Varney, the Pirates were denied access to their locker room during the intermission and were instead escorted to the adjacent soccer field bleachers. Varney says the team was never given the option to return to their locker room inside the school building, despite temperatures dipping into the 20s. He described a heated exchange with an LCA administrator stating, quote, "They 100% did not ask us or give us a choice." Belfry was permitted locker room access before and after the game, but not at halftime. As of press time, LCA athletic officials have not responded to media requests for comment. On the field, the game itself delivered the drama expected from two of the top teams in 2A. After falling behind 28-15 in the third quarter, Belfry stormed back with 14 straight points to reclaim the lead early in the fourth, but LCA answered with a go-ahead touchdown and held on late, sealing a 34-29 win after a Belfry fumble and an interception into the Pirates' final two drives. Mountaintop Sports will keep you updated on this developing story as they become available. Meanwhile, U-Pike men's basketball stole the spotlight at The Show in Kingsport, Tennessee. The Bears closed out the three-day NAIA event with a dominant 75-51 win over number 7 Life University. U-Pike now 8-2, and winners of 7 straight took control with a 14-3 first-half run and never looked back. Freshman Zion Blevins led the charge with 15 points and 9 rebounds, while Bradley Bunch added 13 points and moved into 16th place on U-Pike's all-time scoring list. Jalen Rigdon and Kenyon Cutlip also reached double figures as the Bears posted one of their most complete performances of the season. U-Pike will return to action December 6th at Spartanburg Methodist. For more information, be sure to follow the Mountaintop Sports Facebook page or visit mountaintop.news and click on the Sports tab at the top of the page. This has been Mountaintop Sports. I'm Dave Stanford.
When the government took Social Security away from honest Eastern Kentuckians, Attorney Ned Pillersdorf got the hearings declared unconstitutional. When the women guards were harassed at Little Sandy Jail, Ned fought back, securing a $1 million verdict at trial. And when the state tried to shut down Cordia School, Ned fought back and kept the school open. Attorney Ned Pillersdorf fights for the underdog, and he's ready to fight for you.
Hey, it's Kristen, and at Appalachian Wireless, we love Christmas because we give the gift of savings and connection. Are you not sure what to give? Well, give them something that helps them stay connected and captures those moments that matter the most. Family is where you're valued and appreciated. And this Christmas at Appalachian Wireless, we value you. So come home, check the halls, and get connected with Appalachian Wireless. Visit us today in one of our many retail locations or find out more about the Tech the Halls promotion at AppalachianWireless.com. Because we are you, we are Appalachian Wireless.
Works by Floyd County artist and art professor Tom Whitaker were on display in Paintsville over the weekend. Sheldon attended the event and spoke with Whitaker's son about his father's legacy.
If you ever knew him, you wouldn't forget him.
Thomas J. Whitaker was one of the great Appalachian artists of his time and one of the most memorable. Saturday afternoon, his work was showcased at the 404 Pavilion in Johnson County to a crowd of admirers. Among them, Whitaker's son, Mike Whitaker.
He was really cool as a dad. He was just a normal dad. But, I'd go out with him to paint a lot of times when he'd go out on location. And I'd just sit out there, and of course he'd paint. And I'd just sit out there and basically do nothing. But he was just a normal dad overall.
On display Saturday were many of Whitaker's uniquely striking self-portraits, along with paintings of rural life and scenery.
He was always the center of attention. I've done these shows before and be there, say the Apple Festival, the Sorghum Festival, whatever, nothing going on. He wasn't there. He could get here and be 10 minutes and you'd swear Elvis had entered the place.
Whitaker spent his professional career as an art professor at Big Sandy Community and Technical College in Prestonsburg, where students clamored for entry into every class he offered, no matter their course of study.
And most people that I ever talked to, if they had his class, that was the favorite class they ever had. I don't care where they went, if they went to University of Kentucky, University of Michigan, California, wherever. That was usually their favorite class they had. You never knew what to expect when you went in his class either. He may get up on the desk, he may play the guitar, he may have moonshine.
Whitaker said one bit of artistic advice from his dad has stuck with him over the years.
And you know, like I can tell you, like coloring books, he hated coloring books. He said, why do you have to stay in the line? Nothing says you have to stay in the line. And now, you know, your teachers today, if they give a kid a coloring book, it's got to be in. But now he didn't like that. He said that's not the way. Nobody says, nothing says it has to be in the lines. It makes you realize that you can do it however you want to. I mean, your way's as good as somebody else's.
Reporting for Mountaintop News, I'm Sheldon Compton.
That will do it for this edition of the Mountaintop Daily. Be sure to check us out at 6 p.m. every weekday on Mountaintop TV, the Mountaintop TV app, and the Mountaintop News Facebook page. With your Mountaintop Daily, I'm Jerry Scott for Mountaintop News.